Maia and Condit, how do you see that one playing out?
I'm a huge fan of Maia's just because of he got real sick jiu-jitsu. I say if he could, as long as Condit don't kind of outpoint him on the feet and kind of get the decision, I feel like Maia can maybe get him down and submit him.
Demian Maia is going to have to really catch Condit, and he can't be in Condit's guard for too long because he's going to get elbowed. To me, Condit has one of the most vicious games off his back as far as like striking off the ground. So that and up top. So if Maia wins, it's going to be like he catches Condit something slick, and then if Condit wins, I'm pretty sure he's just going to knock him out on his feet. Or cut him really bad.
That fight's very interesting. It's 5 rounds, and that's what really makes it interesting. I give the edge probably to Condit because it's 5 rounds. 3 rounds is a little bit easier to do wrestling and control with Maia. So it's really whoever basically dictates the fight. So it's if they keep it striking, then Condit. If it keeps it more of a wrestling or grappling style, then it's Maia.
Demian Maia's been so dominant, and nobody's been able to stop him at his game in the welterweight division besides Rory, and I just think he's going to find a way to get the fight in his realm and just make it happen.
Yeah, I think Demian Maia is going to take that. I don't think that Carlos Condit has that good a takedown defense. He's shown that his takedown defense is not very good, so I think probably Damian's probably going to take him down and probably submit him.
You know, this is one of those fights I'm actually excited for. It's actually really hard to break down. You got one guy in Demian Maia who's just been on a rampage. You know, I think he must be on like 5, 6, maybe even 7 fight win streak, and dominant. Looked amazing, blanketing guys, and you know, usually that type of stuff is boring, but when he does it, it's impressive. His ground game is ridiculous. And then you have Condit on the other hand, he's Carlos Condit. You know, he's super well-rounded, in excellent shape, and can go anywhere. So you know, it's one of those fights. It's really hard to pick. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling Demian Maia. I don't know why. I feel like the smarter option would be to go to Carlos Condit just because he's a little more well-rounded. He has a little bit better striking. He can do it all wrestle. He has a ground game as well. But I think if it goes to the ground, you know, I don't think Demian Maia necessarily subs him, but that's Demian Maia. So I'm leaning towards Demian Maia.
We got Demian Maia versus Carlos Condit. I'm a big fan of Carlos. Carlos is the type of guy that has a chin. Demian Maia just blowing through the storm out of nowhere recently. I know he's a veteran. Grappling game is out of this world. I mean, you've seen his last fight against Matt Brown. I think his grappling is probably one of the best, if not the best, in the UFC. But you can't underestimate a guy like, you know, freaking Carlos Condit, whose ground game is pretty much the lead itself. Stand-up game is another level. We've seen that fight with GSP. And it's going to be an exciting fight, you know. I'm sure it's going to get to the ground where Demian Maia is going to probably dominate, but knowing Carlos Condit, he's going to try to keep it more on the feet. I know his defensive game is really good, so it should be an interesting battle.
How's it end?
You know what? As much as I love Carlos Condit, I think the best way for Carlos to win is his stand-up. And Demian Maia, once he gets to the floor, he's just a beast, man. So probably give it to Demian Maia, but who knows? That's why it's called mixed martial arts.
I'm going to go with Condit. He's always tough to beat. Yeah, that's who I like.
How do you see it kind of playing out, though?
Maybe Maia controlling the first round, possibly even 2, but then Condit just coming after it, getting gangster with it, and putting it on him.
I think Demian is, obviously has the ground game. Carlos Condit's no slouch anywhere, but obviously Demian has that benefit to him. If he gets Fitched, as you saw Demian do to, Fitch in that fight, I think that would be, a way to win. Carlos is pretty good striking anywhere. Obviously you saw the battle he had with Robbie Lawler, very close fight. So I would give probably the striking to him, and then Demian obviously have the ground game advantage.